Okay, picture this. It's a crazy busy Saturday. Clients are back to back, and then bam, disaster strikes. You're completely out of that one, like, must-have styling product everyone's obsessed with right
Oh,
now.
the worst timing.
Exactly. So you send a flustered assistant to rummage in the back room, only for them to find, well, just a mountain of other products you barely ever touch.
Right. Shelves full, but not of what you actually need.
Does that sound familiar? That feeling of being just surrounded by stuff, but never having the right stuff when you need it?
Oh, absolutely. That's a scenario we hear pretty much constantly, and it really points to a significant drain on salon finances.
A drain. How so?
We're talking about what's basically a silent profit killer, inefficient inventory management. It sounds boring maybe, but
Yeah.
believe it or not, many salons waste like up to 30% of their supply budget.
30%. Wow.
Yeah, without even realizing it most of the time.
Yeah.
Just let that sink in for a second. Almost a third of what you're spending on products could potentially be going right down the drain.
Okay, that's huge. It's like having this leaky faucet just constantly dripping away your hard-earned cash in the background.
That's a great analogy.
So in this deep dive, we're not just going to nod along about the chaos. Our goal is really to uncover why this waste happens and, more importantly, give you a clear, usable strategy.
Something you can use right away.
Yes. To regain control of your stockroom and put that lost money back where it belongs, which is, in your pocket, we're aiming for practical insights here. None of that complicated jargon.
And what's really surprising is how often this issue kind of gets overlooked,
Yeah.
right? Salon owners are, well, understandably focused on great services, managing their teams, getting new clients.
All the front of house stuff.
Exactly. But the insidious thing about poor inventory is that its costs are often hidden. They just quietly eat away at your profitability, maybe just as much as a more obvious problem.
Okay, let's dig into this then. Why? Why are salons seemingly so vulnerable to this kind of waste? I mean, it's not like we're dealing with super complex materials, right?
Right.
It's mostly shampoos, conditioners, color. Seems pretty straightforward. So what's the root cause of all this inefficiency?
Well, that apparent simplicity, it can actually be part of the problem.
How so?
Because the supplies seem so basic, setting up a really robust inventory system often doesn't feel like a top priority. It gets pushed down the list.
Okay. Makes sense.
But the data we've looked at, it consistently shows the waste boils down to a few key things all connected. First off, if you don't have an accurate, truly up-to-date count of what you have,
You're just guessing when you reorder.
you're basically guessing. And guesswork in business,
Yeah.
it rarely saves you money. Actually, our research often points to something like a 15–20% difference between what owners think they have and what's actually on the shelf.
Wow, phantom stock.
Exactly. That
Yeah.
phantom stock is a huge hidden cost.
Yeah, that makes total sense. If you're just going off a fuzzy memory of what's in the back, it feels safer to just order more, just in case.
Precisely. And that's how you end up with those overflowing shelves of products that just sit there.
Okay, so that's number one. What else?
Second, if you don't have a clear picture of what you're using and how fast you're using it,
You're flying blind.
totally flying blind on restocking.
Well,
Which inevitably leads to those awful wear out moments for your most popular items. That frustrates clients, right? And it can definitely lose you business.
oh, for sure. Nothing worse than telling a client you don't have their favorite product.
And third, let's not underestimate the impact of just simple disorganization. When your storage areas are a mess, stuff gets lost.
Hidden away in a corner somewhere.
Yeah, forgotten about. And then it eventually expires or just goes bad, making it totally unusable.
We've all found those ancient-looking bottles in the back, haven't we? The ones you bought ages ago and just completely forgot were there. It's a bit cringeworthy.
That cringe, that's the sound of your profits basically walking out the door. And if we connect this back to the big picture, that 30% waste figure, it's not just some abstract number.
It's real money.
It's real money. Money you could use for so many things, new equipment, better training for your team, maybe even, rewarding yourself for all the hard work.
Okay. So recognizing that link between, smart inventory and actual cash benefits is the crucial first step.
Absolutely, that's the key.
So it's not just about having a tidy stockroom. It's directly tied to a healthier bottom line. Got it. Now, to really make this concrete, let's talk about a real-world example. Someone who actually tackled this inventory chaos. Because, for me at least, those stories make it click.
Totally agree. One common story we see reflected in a lot of salon management resources is this owner who was constantly wrestling with their inventory.
Like the scenario I described.
Exactly like you described at the start, always running out of bestsellers, but simultaneously battling this like avalanche of slow-moving products in the back room. Their storage was just a confusing maze. Ordering felt like pure gambling.
Okay, that sounds painfully familiar for probably a lot of listeners. So what was the trigger? What made them finally say, okay, enough is enough?
Well, the turning point, it seems, came when they really grasped the sheer extent of how these stockouts and also the surplus of unwanted stuff was hitting their service quality and, crucially, their profits.
A bottom line.
The bottom line. So the solution they implemented, and this lines up with best practices we saw everywhere, started with a really basic but totally essential step.
Let me guess. Counting.
You got it. A meticulous, wall-to-wall physical count of every single item, every bottle, every tube, no more rough estimates, no more, oh, I think we have about 5 of those. Just a detailed written down record.
Okay, that sounds daunting, like a really huge job. I can see why people put that off.
It definitely can feel overwhelming at first, yeah. But it's really the foundation you need to build on to get control back. After that big initial count, they moved on to implementing inventory management software.
The tech solution.
Which is a key recommendation we saw consistently. This kind of system let them track product usage pretty much in real time. It helped them set up those critical par levels.
Car levels. Can you explain that quickly?
Sure. Par levels are basically the minimum amount of each product you decide you always want to have on hand. So the software tracked usage helps set those minimums and even set up like automated alerts to remind them to reorder when stock got low.
Okay, so taking the guesswork out again.
Exactly. A lot of these systems also use barcode scanning now, which makes receiving new stock and doing counts way faster and more accurate.
So the software kind of removes the human error element. It's not relying on someone's memory or a scribbled note on a pad somewhere.
Precisely. It gives you one central, consistently accurate view of your inventory whenever you need it. But interestingly, this owner also really stressed the importance of team training.
Getting everyone involved.
Crucial. Every single staff member was trained on how to use the software, why it mattered, and the importance of like accurately recording products used after every service. They also made regular weekly inventory checks a team thing.
Teamwork makes the dream work, even counting hairspray, huh? So what happened? What were the results? Did all this effort actually pay off?
The results were pretty dramatic, actually. Their supply costs dropped by almost 30%.
Wow, there's that number again.
Right, that very figure we talked about. They saw a huge reduction in waste from expired or lost products. And maybe, just as important, their team felt way less stressed because they weren't constantly hitting those stockout walls and scrambling for supplies.
That makes a huge difference to the day-to-day vibe.
Absolutely. That concrete aha moment, seeing those clear financial and operational benefits, it just really highlights how powerful a systematic approach to inventory can be.
Wow, a 30% reduction. Okay, that's a true game changer. So we're convinced, we get why it's important, we've seen proof it works. Now, what are some immediate, actionable steps our listeners can take right now, today, to start getting a better grip?
Okay, the good news is you don't have to, revolutionize everything overnight. Start with these manageable, sort of bite-sized steps. First, as we've said, count everything.
Big count.
Yes. It sounds basic, maybe tedious, but grab a notebook, open a simple spreadsheet, whatever works for you, and physically count every single product. Every shampoo, every color tube, every wax jar. Don't skip shelves. Don't estimate.
No quick glances. A real honest-to-goodness down to the last bottle count. Got it. What's next?
Second, set par levels. For each of your main products, figure out the minimum number you want to always have in stock. Think about how fast you use things.
Like, how quickly do we go through our top conditioner?
Exactly.
Yep.
Maybe you decide you always need, say, 4 bottles of that specific one on the shelf. That par level ensures you meet demand without just sitting on tons of extra stock.
So it's finding that sweet spot enough to keep clients happy, but not so much it gathers dust.
Spot on. Third, start using inventory tools. Like we mentioned, dedicated software can be super efficient with real-time tracking, reorder alerts.
Lots of options out there.
Tons of options, yeah. Different complexities, different price points. Some integrate right into your point of sale system, but honestly, even just a well-maintained spreadsheet, if you update it diligently every week, is a massive step up from, just winging it.
Right. So whether it's a fancy app or a simple spreadsheet, the key is just having a system you stick to for tracking.
Exactly. Fourth, organize your storage. Seriously, invest in some decent bins, clear labels, maybe some better shelving. Create a logical system.
Group things together.
Yeah, group similar products, all retail shampoos here, all professional color lines there. It sounds simple, but it makes it so much easier to see what you have at a glance, and it drastically cuts down on things getting lost or forgotten.
It's like tidying up your stockroom. Makes
Yes,
sense.
it really does.
Yeah.
Fifth, do regular audits. Make it a routine, maybe monthly, to do a physical check and compare it against your spreadsheet or software record.
Catching mistakes.
Catching discrepancies, yeah. Finding expired items you miss, it just keeps your system honest and accurate.
So it's not a one-and-done thing. It needs consistent effort.
Definitely needs upkeep. Sixth, build good relationships with your suppliers. Talk to them. Tell them about your par levels. See if you can get maybe bulk discounts on things you order all the time.
They want you to succeed too, right?
Often, yeah. They can be great partners in helping you keep optimal stock levels without breaking the bank. Good communication is key.
Makes sense. And the last one.
And finally, number 7, get your team involved. Train everybody properly on your procedures. Explain why it's important, how it saves money, reduces stress.
Makes their jobs easier too, probably.
For sure. When the whole team understands the system and buys into the benefits, it's just much, much more likely to stick and be successful.
Team involvement really feels critical. Okay, now let's be real. Inventory can feel like, well, a chore. A bit dull.
It definitely can have that reputation.
So how can we inject a little less chore-like energy into it? Make it less dreadful.
That's a really important point. It doesn't have to be the task everyone avoids. Think about those, universal inventory oops moments we can all kind of relate to.
Like running out mid-service.
Exactly. Suddenly realizing you're totally out of that amazing treatment mask right when a client asks for it, only to later find like 3 expired ones hiding in a back corner. We can all share a knowing chuckle about those moments.
Oh, I feel the collective sigh of recognition from listeners right now.
Right. And those moments really highlight the problems that good inventory management actually solves.
True.
So contrast those nightmare scenarios with the positives. No more frantic last-minute orders, way less wasted product, which means more profit, and just nicely organized shelves that make finding things quick and easy for everyone.
It improves the whole workflow.
Totally. I heard a great example from one salon. They actually turned their monthly inventory day into a team-building event.
No way.
They'd order in lunch, like pizza, put on some good music, and just tackle the counting and organizing together. They even made finding really old or forgotten items into a kind of fun treasure hunt.
Pizza and music can definitely make anything better. That's a really creative way to reframe it. Love that.
And look, to help you get started right now, here's a really practical mini challenge. Super simple.
Okay, lay it on us.
Just choose one shelf, or even just one bin in your stockroom, just one small area.
Okay.
Dedicate maybe 5-10 minutes max.
Oh.
Count every single thing on it or in it. Then just take a second to think, how often do you really use those specific things in a typical week?
Comparing stock to actual usage.
Exactly. Based on that tiny audit, just decide. Do you need to adjust how you order those specific items? Or maybe just set a simple par level for them. It's a small start.
That sounds totally manageable, not overwhelming at all.
And for listeners who are maybe a bit more tech-savvy, consider trying out a free trial of an inventory app. There are loads out there. Even using one for a week or 2 can give you a real feel for how these tools can save time and boost accuracy.
Good tip, just dip your toe in.
Right. And to keep making inventory feel less like a drag, why not get creative? You could try something fun like inventory bingo staff get points for finding old or nearly expired stuff.
I like that.
Or maybe a guess the count contest for something specific, like tubes of your most popular color line. Closest guess gets a small prize, like a coffee gift card.
Making it a game.
Yeah. Even just giving shout-outs or simple recognition to team members who do a great job keeping their areas organized can really help shift the attitude towards inventory tasks.
Those are great practical ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Turning it into a bit of a friendly competition definitely makes it less of a burden. And the core message always is that the money saved isn't just theoretical, right?
Not at all. Any money you save on supplies goes straight back into your business. Or, it can fund those staff rewards, bonuses, or training opportunities.
It stays with you.
Exactly. So just to quickly recap our deep dive here, remember that big potential for waste, maybe up to 30% from inefficient inventory. It's significant.
Definitely worth tackling.
And the core solutions are all linked. Tracking what you use, counting what you have accurately, organizing your space, setting those par levels, using the right tools for use software or a good spreadsheet, and really getting your team on board.
Start small, maybe.
Absolutely. We really encourage you to just take that first small step today. Pick that one shelf and just see what impact even that small change starts to have on your supply costs.
Hey, look, it's a super common challenge. If your back room feels a bit chaotic right now, you are definitely not alone.
Not at all. It's something almost every salon owner grapples with at some point.
But by putting these strategies into place, even gradually, you absolutely can gain control, make your salon run smoother, and most importantly, boost your profitability. So
Yeah.
if you found this deep dive useful, maybe share it with your colleagues, your team.
Please do. And just remember, every dollar you save on supplies is a dollar that stays with you. It fuels your business, your goals. It's not meant to just sit there gathering dust on a shelf in the back room.
Well said.
So take that first step, embrace these ideas, and go save that 30%.